21 reasons why you can't L-sit to handstand press. Let's get started. Reason number 1 why you can't L-sit to handstand press is because you're not holding 90 degrees. So guys, if you remember and take away any tip from this video, make sure it's this one. That's why I put it at the start of the video. You want to make sure the angle between your upper arm and your forearm is 90 degrees and not less than 90 degrees. If your angle between your upper arm and your forearm is less than 90 degrees, you're making this skill 2 times harder than it needs to be, literally, because you're going to have double the range of motion to push from to get into that handstand position. Once you have the strength to hold this 90-degree angle and hold it there and then push up into the handstand, this exercise is so much easier. Reason number 2 why you can't L-sit to handstand press is because you're not stacking your hips. We want to be bringing our hips up all the way above our shoulders and holding that again with our arms at 90 degrees, and then we're pressing up into that handstand. And for some of you that may not be able to L-sit to handstand press yet, you may not be getting your hips up high enough, so you're losing that balance and not getting into the proper handstand. So guys, get your phone, record yourself and see if your hips are stacking up over your shoulders and if you're pressing up into the handstand that way, because that's going to give you that nice alignment into the handstand. Reason number 3 why you can't L-sit to handstand press yet is because you haven't tried the crow to handstand progression yet. And in this progression, you're working on getting your hips up, but you're not getting them up completely stacked above your shoulders yet. You're using your elbows to support yourself and just have the strength to hold them there, and you're focusing on the press up into the handstand. That's what we're focusing on here. So you get a bit of balance. You're also working on getting those hips up, but not all the way, but then we're really focusing on that press into the handstand. Reason number 4 why you can't L-sit to handstand press yet is because you're releasing your legs way too early. So you try and release your legs a little too early before your hips are stacked up above your shoulders and before you're really balancing and pressing up into that handstand. Your legs extending can bring your weight and your center of gravity way too far behind your hands and then make you lose balance. So guys, if you're trying the L-sit to handstand press progression, record yourself, watch it back, and make sure you're not releasing your legs too early where your center of gravity, your center of mass is moving a bit behind you and you're losing that balance. Reason number 5 why you can't L-sit to handstand press yet is because your forearms are not straight up. To know that we're doing this right and we're not leaning too far forward or too far back, we look at our forearms and we try to make sure that they're pointing straight up. This is the same in push-ups and a lot of other pushing progressions in calisthenics. You want to make sure those forearms are perpendicular to the floor, not leaning forward, not leaning backward. Having your arms and your forearms straight up in that 90-degree position, you're going to apply the most strength into those bars or the floor to get up into that handstand position. Reason number 6 why you can't L-sit handstand press yet is because you haven't used a stool or chair to assist you. So by using a stool or chair, you can do the L-sit part, then bring your legs through your arms and rest them on the chair. That's the first part of the movement, and then from there, use the chair to assist you, hop up if you can, or just lean if you want to, get your hips above your shoulders and then press into the handstand. By doing this, you've broken the movement out into 2 parts, and over time, as you gain this strength, you'll be able to do this movement a lot cleaner, and this might be the reason you can't L-sit to handstand press yet. Reason number 7 why you can't L-sit to handstand press yet is because you haven't done the L-sit to straddle handstand press yet. So guys, this move is a little bit weird and might be for those more flexible people out there with a bit more mobility, because by doing the straddle handstand instead of pressing up into a regular handstand, you might be able to negate some of the balance part of this movement and focus more on the strength, because by straddling the legs you have less of that weight on top of your shoulders. You can kind of focus on the balance and your body has probably a better proprioception for those with good flexibility and that are really comfortable in the straddle handstands. Reason number 8 why you can't L-sit to handstand press yet is because you haven't done L-sit to handstand press negatives. So guys, if you haven't yet, try this progression out for a couple weeks. I learned the 90-degree handstand push-up just by doing the negatives, just by dropping down from that handstand position and lowering down. The same thing goes for the L-sit to handstand press. Just get up into the handstand and lower down as slow as you can. Over a couple of weeks, you'll build the strength, and potentially, this happened to me, one day you'll just be able to push up because you've been training that eccentric movement, and of course it's going to work with the concentric as well, building that same strength. Reason number 9 why you can't L-sit to handstand press yet is because you're not doing the transition with any speed. So something you can do when the bars are a bit higher is go into that L-sit and have more of a swing. By using more of a swing, you can get into the transition a bit easier with a bit less strength and then hold it there. This is something I do all the time, even though I have the strength to do the L-sit to handstand press cleanly. Sometimes I'll just save a bit of energy, go into the L-sit, swing a bit, and get into that transition position where my hips are stacked above my shoulders, my legs are tucked, and then all I have to do is extend my legs and push. So guys, use a bit of momentum, that will help you. Use less strength, and then you can focus on that push-up while controlling your balance. So, and this is usually when you're doing it on something high, like high P-bars or high dip bars. Reason number 10 why you can't L-sit to handstand press yet is because you're going too fast. Okay, I know I just told you to use a bit of momentum, which is basically telling you to go a bit quicker through the transition and then hold that 90-degree position. So guys, I'm not telling you to rush it, right? But you still want to do everything controlled. I'm just saying use a bit of momentum to help with the transition so you can focus more on your balance. You still want to be able to control and hold that 90-degree position with the forearm to up arm. Reason number 11 why you can't L-sit to handstand press yet is because you've not trained the handstand push-up enough. So as mentioned before, the L-sit to handstand press is basically just an L-sit and a handstand push-up put together. So of course you want to have that good basis of a handstand push-up. You can learn this movement without, doing the proper handstand push-up progressions, only focusing on the L-sit to handstand press. But why make yourself or why make your life harder than it needs to be? Break it up. First get good at the L-sit, then get good at the handstand push-up. Put the two together by just working on that transition part and using the other tips in this video and in my other videos as well to learn the full movements. The 12th reason why you can't L-sit to handstand press yet is because you've not tried using parallettes. So guys, using parallettes is almost essential for some people to learn this move because you get that extra height so you can pass your legs through with ease. And you guys know from my ultimate guide on what parallettes to buy, what you should be looking for, that the Gore Nation parallettes are some of the best to buy, the best that I've ever used. So if you're looking for a set of parallettes, then these are the ones I recommend you buy. They have everything ticked off that you need in your parallettes, so check them out. Link is in the description. Use the code JACK10 for minus 10% off your purchase if you go for these parallettes. But guys, if you're trying to learn the L-sit to handstand press, you need a good set of parallettes to do this on. Reason number 13 why you can't L-sit to handstand press yet is because your parallettes are too low. You want to make sure your parallettes aren't too low so you're still able to easily pass your legs through. So guys, at Gore Nation, they also have a higher set of parallettes that are great. It gives you just enough space to move your legs through. Either do this on those kind of parallettes or on dip bars, but it's a bit harder to learn this progression on dip bars, so really you want the low parallettes with enough height. Reason number 14 why you can't L-sit to handstand press yet is because your hand position is way too close. By having your hands just outside shoulder width, you're going to be able to get so many more muscles involved in a more stable position, and it's going to make the movement a lot easier. By having your hands just outside shoulder width, you're going to be able to get your lats, triceps, shoulders way more involved. It's going to be easier to balance. You're going to have a wider base, which means more stability. Guys, when you have your hands too close, maybe shoulder width, and maybe even if you're going closer than shoulder width, then guys, this is going to be a little bit too close. You're going to be making it more difficult yourself. Reason number 15 why you can't L-sit to handstand press yet is because you haven't tried the headstand to handstand progression. You can work on the balance and try and balance the handstand, but what I'd say is first work on just pushing up, fully extending into a handstand, and then just come down. Don't try and balance. And then once you get good at that, where you build that strength to push up into a handstand and do that handstand push-up, then focus on the balance. So that might be one you're missing from your workout routine and might just help you get that L-sit to handstand press. Reason number 16 why you can't L-sit to handstand press yet is because you haven't worked on the handstand enough. So if you find you're one of those guys that finds the strength really easy in a lot of things, you're naturally strong, or maybe you've done another sport before and the balance is harder, then you need to work on that handstand, regress again, go back to the wall, go back to your progressions and work on that balance, because that's going to help you with that L-sit to handstand. And once you push up from that handstand push up, you're going to be able to hold that handstand and complete that L-sit to handstand press. Reason number 17 why you can't L-sit to handstand press is because you're not training it when you're fresh. So if this is a skill you really want to get, then prioritize it at the start of your workout, you know, when you have the most strength and the most potential to balance, you know, nothing else is fatigued and holding you back and limiting you, then move it to the start of your workout, and that might be the difference between you getting it and you not, and you doing those quality sets of handstand push-ups and so on, and these different progressions I've just told you about. Doing them at the start might be the difference between you getting it and you not. Reason number 18 why you can't L-sit to handstand press yet is because you're not using swings. This is not one where you want to rush the transition, so make sure you're doing this slow and controlled, but just only with a bit of swing. So you're going to the L-sit, you're swinging a tiny bit, getting the hips up, holding where you can, and then coming back. You do this for reps. Over time, you're going to be able to get your hips up higher and higher. You're going to be able to do it more controlled. You're going to get used to that position. And well, guys, all that's left once you're in that position with your hips up above your shoulders is to work on that concentric push into the handstand push-up. Reason number 19 why you can't L-sit to handstand press it is because you haven't tried the jump assisted tuck to handstand. So guys, the jump assisted tuck to handstand, all you're doing is using a little bit of a hop to get yourself into a tuck handstand and then pressing or extending your legs up into a handstand. There's not too much going on here, but it's really going to help with your balance and getting from that tuck extending up into a handstand. Reason number 20 why you can't L-sit to handstand press yet is because you're not training the bent arm handstand. Guys, the bent arm handstand is a great progression. Even if you can't handstand yet, this is a great one for just learning body alignment, strength as well. If you can naturally hold that bent arm position, this is going to be a good one for you. And lastly, reason number 21 why you can't L-sit to handstand press yet is because you haven't watched this video, which is a full workout plan, one I followed to get the L-sit to handstand press, and if done consistently, it will get you the L-sit to handstand press as well.